Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So in today's video I am just sitting down with you today and getting ready for the day. I've got a few other videos that I want to film today, so I'm wanting to try out a few of the new things that I have bought recently and wanting to give them a second chance. So I've dug out a few things that I'm like, I need to try these again. I need to decide what I think of them, such as the e.l.f. Poreless Liquid Primer. The e.l.f. Eye Brightener, I really didn't like this the first time I tried it, so I'm going to give it another go. What else are we trying? The Milani Luminoso Blush. I haven't tried this yet. I said when I did the haul for the Milani video that I did, I said that I was going to do this in a short, but I thought, let's just throw it into a long form video as well. And then I've dug this eyeshadow palette out because I haven't used this in the longest time, and it was one of my favourites from like last year, I want to say, the Juvias Place Olori one. Tell me that that is not me in an eyeshadow palette, but I'm just going to dive straight on in because I'm trying out a few different things here. Like I say, starting with the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I just think that this is a fine primer. I don't have a huge problem with texture, I don't have a huge problem with my pores, so this isn't, you know, it's not marketed for me, which is fine. Not every product is going to be like a smash hit, like knock it out the park. It's going to be just fine, and that's okay. But I do still want to like try it. I want to see how it performs under different foundations and things like that. So trying it out again. As always with these videos, I encourage you to sit down with me, have a play with makeup, have a play with what you've got in your collection, along like in real time with me. That's like how I enjoy watching videos like this. Like, I put them on, I do my makeup, I just have a play with things that I maybe haven't used in a long time. You might discover an old favourite, you might use something in a slightly different way and decide that you actually really like a product that maybe you didn't think very much of before. I think that like really playing with your makeup in a way that isn't like getting ready to go out or like getting ready for work, like just getting ready at the end of the day to then immediately take it off. I feel like that's a really fun way to play with your makeup and find what you really like as well, like by doing something a little bit different. So for foundation, I got this recently, the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation, and I'm going to mix it in with the Polyglutamic acid serum from the Inkey list because this is incredibly full coverage and I don't need that. So I'm going to do like 1.5 pumps of foundation. Then I will do 1 pump of the Polyglutamic. Oh, it's getting to the end of this bottle, so that was 1 pump. Then I'll mix them together and I'm going to blend this out with a sponge. And we'll see what the coverage is like when I mix this serum in. It will like make it more hydrating and it will sheer out the coverage a little bit. Yes, I feel like I much prefer that with the Polyglutamic acid mixed in. It's less coverage, so I can still see like some of my redness poking through. I've been going hard on the like acids to try and clear up my skin because I have been dealing with a few spots recently, so my skin is like extra red at the minute. But I prefer the coverage like this where it's just a little bit lighter, so it's still like giving that like natural soft matte sort of a finish, but it's just slightly less coverage, which is what my preference is. So I'm going in now with the e.l.f. Eye Brightener. This is the Putty Colour Correcting Eye Brightener, and I do believe I got the lightest shade. Yes, Fair. And I really hated this when I first tested it, but we're going to give it another go. I can't even remember how I applied this last time. I'm going to use my fingers today. That's how I've seen people using it online, people who say that they like it. So I'm just going to tap this onto like the inner corner where I have most of the blueness and then blend it out under my eye. Okay, so I blended this right out and I think I probably used less this time than I did when I first tested this. And I know that you have to use this in conjunction with your concealer, so I will do that before I judge it. But I think if you're wanting something that's going to make your concealer really stick to your eyes, I think that's how I would use this if I'm wanting to make concealer, more full coverage, so it has that tacky base. I think that that's how this will come in useful in my routine. So I'm going to go in with the Revolution IRL Filter Finish Concealer. Because this primer is almost like sticky and hydrating, I think that more of a matte concealer will go quite nicely over the top of it, and this is like hella full coverage. So I'm just going to use one actual dot, one dot under each eye. I really don't want a lot, and then I will blend it out with a brush. Yes, I think I like those two together. The concealer by itself is very dry on me. I already have dry skin, so I like something that's a little bit more hydrating. So with that primer underneath, I feel like this primer and this concealer go well together. A concealer that's more hydrating, maybe, well, I probably would just prefer by itself, but these two together, they look really nice. It's left the eye area looking nice and luminous, but not sticky like it did the first time I tried the eye primer. So yes, I like those two together. I am happy. So what next? I've got like everything laid out on my table. Try to like stack things in order so that I know what I've got next. Sometimes it doesn't work in my head though. The MUA Bronzed Cream Bronzer. I already know that I love this. It's such a beautiful hydrating bronzer, and this is a really great shade for me. This is Butterscotch, and they've got a few different shades of this too. So just going in with my usual Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and I'm going to start warming up the skin. So that is the cream bronzer all blended out. I did also put a little bit down the sides of my nose. So if you see that not blended very well, no you don't. I am just going to set that in with a powder bronzer. So this is the 17 Glow and Define bronzer. This is the lightest shade 010. I really like this. The more that I use this, the more I love it. It's just not very pigmented, so it just sets in a cream bronzer really nicely. This is like how I like to use it most, just to dust over a cream bronzer to really lock in that colour. Like in the summer we need all the light layers to keep everything in place, and that's how I like using this one. So it doesn't take away from that MUA cream bronzer, it just adds to it, just sets everything in really nicely. And then I'm going to go in with blush. I'm so excited to try this. This is the Milani Baked Powder Blusher in Luminoso. Like, I am literally the last person on the planet to try this. I always thought that I wouldn't like this colour on my skin because I'm so pale, and I thought that this would just be too orangey, too peachy for my skin tone. But honestly, ooh, that is powdery. Okay. Recently I have been enjoying more of a lighter, orangey, warm, peachy blush. And obviously I'm so interested in the glowy blush as well. So let's see how this goes. Just going to go in with light layers again, just go in lightly and then build it up because I don't want it to be too much. I am often applying too much blush. Okay, I've been sleeping under a rock, haven't I? That's beautiful. That's such a beautiful undertone. Like, it looks just like a regular blush, and then when it catches the light, it's got that like goldenness to it. I love it. I was actually just thinking, oh, I haven't even brought a highlighter over. I'm gonna have to go back into my drawers to get a highlight. But I don't think I need it. Like, there's such a beautiful amount of glow in that blush that I don't think I need a highlight, which is unheard of for me. I wear highlight pretty much every single day. So I'm going to go off and do my brows. I'm going to use the Catrice Eyebrow Stylist in Perfect Brown and the e.l.f. Wow Brow. So I'll be right back when I've got some brows on my head. Okay, so that's the brows done, and I have also just put a little bit of the Beauty Bay eye primer across the lids, and then I'm going to go in with the palette. So this is the Juvia's Place Olori 1 palette, and like I say, this is one of my favourite palettes of all time. The shimmers in these palettes are so incredible. The mattes are so pigmented. One of my favourite formulas, the Juvia's Place ones. Of the palettes that I like, I don't like the Olori 2, the blue one. That's a bad palette. This is a great one though. If you're interested in these sort of colours, I really rate this one highly. I'm going to just stick with the orangey, warmer tones today. This one on the inner corner, this one on the outer corner, maybe a shimmer across the lid. Something quite simple. So I'm going to go in with like a dense sort of a brush, and I'll just dip into the lighter orange shade. I don't like that these don't have mirrors. Like, I feel like, yes, you will have a mirror in another product that you own, but I like having a mirror in my eyeshadow palette. I feel like because it's a bigger thing, it's nice to have a palette in it. It's nice to have a mirror in the palette. That's just me being picky though. So I've just got a blush here that I can use the mirror out of. Then I'm just going to pack this onto the lid on the inner half. Then I will just use the same brush and dip into that darker orange shade and pack that on the outer half, and then I will blend. So then I'm just taking a clean brush and I'm just going to blend over that top edge just to diffuse that colour a little bit so that there isn't so much of a line. I do feel like the colours have already like blended themselves in, like the light to the dark across the middle of the lid. But let's just blend out this edge. Okay, so that is that all blended out, and I'm just going to tap a tiny little bit of that golden shimmer across the lid because it's just the most incredible gold. So I'm going to look down into my mirror and tap this right across the lid, and then one last blend with a big fluffy brush. And I think that's the eyeshadow done. I didn't want to do anything too out of the box, anything too crazy or like bright. I just feel like these colours are what I'm wearing quite a lot at the minute. Like, they just go so nicely with blue eyes. I feel like that's what I say in every video at the minute, but I am really just loving like the oranges and the yellows. I feel like it looks so summery and so like zesty and fresh. I'm loving it. So I'm going in with the Beauty Bay liquid eyeliner, and I'm going to do a wing because is it even me if I don't do a wing? And then once the eyeliner's on, the mascara that I'm using is the Beauty Bay High Key mascara. I did a whole video of this, like doing a full day wear test and everything. I actually filmed it yesterday, so it will have been up by the time you see this. That will have gone up, like cogs are turning in my head. It may have been last week by the time you're seeing this, but I think it's fantastic. If you want really thick, really dramatic lashes, which is what I like, then I think that you'll like this. It's got quite a strange wand. The wand, I'll put a picture up of what it looks like close up from the Beauty Bay website. The wand is interesting. It's very spiky, but I don't find that, because I'm not very good at makeup and I'm messy and I'm clumsy, I find often that spikier wands like this just mean that I get mascara all over my eyelid. And now that I've said this, like, I know that I'm like tempting fate here and I'm going to end up with this everywhere, but I didn't feel like I got this absolutely everywhere when I did that first impression, so that's good to know. It's not like so spiky where it's gonna like jab you in the eyeball, but the wand is very big and it does get a lot of product on very quickly. See, I just did it then. Got mascara everywhere. I can't talk whilst I do this, okay? I'll be right back. I'm just adding a tiny little bit of highlight onto the inner corner. So this is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder. This is in Blossom Glow, the paler shade. I'm just tapping a tiny little bit of this right onto the inner corner, because that's another thing I don't feel like myself until I've got something highly reflective right on that inner corner, and I feel like that just really finishes off the whole eye look. And then for the lips, I'm trying this out again. I loved this the first time I tried it, but I felt like the colour needed a lip liner, and then I went in with a lip liner afterwards. But I'm going to try it with a lip liner first. So this is the Milani. Oh, it doesn't have the name on it. I am going to forget what this is. Colour Fetish lipstick matte. There's definitely matte in there somewhere, or is it satin? See, you need the name of the actual product on the label, okay? But this is in the shade 410 Pleasure, but the lip liner that I'm going to use today is the Essence 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in 04 Rosy Nude. This was slightly darker than the one that I used in that first Milani video, so I'm going to just overline the lips first with the Essence lip liner, just like that. So that's like slightly darker than my natural lip colour, and then this is like pretty much my lip colour. So yeah, these two go together so much better. Yes, that's a much better combination. I used a slightly lighter one before, and I think that this looks a lot better. So do I need more bronzer? I mean, I always add more, but do I actually need it? I don't think I do. I think I'm happy with how everything looks today. So let me know what you think of this look. Let me know if you have any of these products, if you're enjoying them as well. What have we tested out today for the first time? These two mixed together, the foundation and the polyglutamic acid. I knew that would work beautifully, but I feel like that was a real win. I also feel like the combination of these two, like complete curveball, I didn't like these two like separately. But together, the hydration from this and then the matte finish from this, I feel like that works really, really well. And another win, the Luminoso blush. Do I need more blush? No, but here we are. What else? I feel like that was all of the new things that I've tested today, was it? I don't know. Ask me down below if you want my opinions on anything else, because honestly, it is like, what time is it? It's 3:48 in the afternoon, and this is the first thing that I've done with my day. Genuinely, like, you know, you just have a really slow day and then you can't like get yourself into doing something, and like I have to today because it's my only day off this week, so I'm like, I need to film. So I had to do this, but I'm glad that I did. I'm feeling a lot more positive now. I love how all of this has turned out. Of course, I love all of these colours anyway, but let me know what you think down below. If you liked this like completely chatty, rambly, slightly not very coherent video, then please give it a big thumbs up. If you are new here, I would love it if you would subscribe. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.